Well, good evening. And this week in college football, we are really fucking late to this party. A lot of it's my fault. I have a life, and because of said life, things just get in the way. Not like in a bad way, but just things happen, and we need to handle real life things. As always, my name is Red. I am the drunken hostess mostess of this Titanic of a ship that we sail here, and you all are stuck on board with me. So, you know, hello. And then to my, I guess on your screen, your right is a good friend of the channel, Akbar fan, back again for the second week in a row. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good, and we're so late that the Bills are beating the Dolphins 24-7, and we already have 2 seconds. Arizona State and Texas State tied at 21, and oh dang, South Alabama Jaguars crushing Northwestern State Demons, which I don't know which conference either of these two are in.
Well, Northwestern State, that is a FCS squad. South Alabama is the Sun Belt.
Yeah,
And
I
that's
see
it.
it
So
now.
we're already in the week 3, and we're still talking about week 2. Oops, sorry guys. But long story short, for the delay, kids. So we're gonna move on. Now, I was gonna start off this week with Notre Dame, and we are gonna get to some self reflection time, but we need to talk about some breaking news that hit the waves today.
Mushu awakening.
Two pack is now a 6-pack. That is the headline of college football today. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Obviously, if you're a subscriber to the channel, you know what my 2 cents are. I just uploaded a video about an hour ago now, just over an hour ago now, regarding the revival of the Pac-12. Akbar, your thoughts?
Honestly, I'm surprised that happened. I honestly thought that Washington State and Oregon State would have just joined the Mountain West, and that would have been it. I really thought the Pac-12 was just the whole pack was going to be just completely dissolved, and Oregon, Washington State, they move on to Mountain West, and that'll pretty much be it for major realignments for a time at least.
Yeah, I think everybody was honestly floored by the whole ordeal. Let's look at the facts here. Let's look at the facts. Everybody and their mother pretty much thought at this time last year. Hell, I even made a fucking video about it because obviously
yes, you did.
I made a video about every little thing. 9 months ago, I made a video about how the Pac-12 not dead. They take Oregon State and Wazoo took control, and it was either going to be something that could work or fail absolutely spectacularly. And as of right now, it is the latter half that is apparently coming to pass because through some shrewd business measures, I don't think George Kliavkoff ever had the balls to do it the Pac-12 when he was running it. They sniped 4 top teams from the Mountain West in the dead of night from right underneath of them. After Mountain West put them on life support for this season. Oh, fucking brutal, right?
Pretty much. Oh, quick question: will the Pac-12 championship still be a thing? They just have Oregon and Washington play each other.
Fuck, I don't know. Frankly, I don't think it will be. Yeah, it's pretty hard to be a conference champion when you've only played one conference opponent. I guess de facto it'll be that way, but I don't think they're going to be giving out a trophy.
No, I don't think so. I just like maybe kind
conference.
Just kind of a friendly or something.
Yep, and Matt's Akbar mentioned that at the top of the show. It is a tie, 21-all between Texas State and Arizona State on ESPN. If you guys want to watch that, and while you listen to us blab about this, Arizona State, former Pac-12, now Big 12 member, and I'll tell you, my first reaction when we started getting rumors yesterday about the Pac-12 possibly dissolving. Actually, I shared a post on my community tab, which, by the way, subscribe to the channel. I share, news and memes on my community tab all the time, and people seem to like it. That Oregon State and Wazoo, 6 ACC schools, rumored to join Big 12. That was published yesterday. And then today, at about 9 o'clock Eastern time on the East Coast, the Pac-12 Twitter account came to life and tweeted out that they're back, basically. And overnight, Boise State, Colorado State, San Diego State, and Fresno State have committed to playing Pac-12 football and Pac-12 sports with Oregon State and Wazoo starting 2026, not next year, the year after. And I honestly did not think that in any realistic world that we would see something like this. Hey, Alan, good to see you, by the way, buddy. Glad you made it. But looking back, after reviewing everything that I reviewed in the lead up to publishing my video an hour ago, I honestly should have seen this coming. We knew as early as January, February, right around the time the season was ending and the lawsuits were finishing up, that Oregon State and Wazoo were going to get an absolutely atrocious amount of money from keeping the Pac-12 name and recognition. And the only reason why this is even a possibility right now is because of a loophole in the Pac-12 bylaws that allowed Wazoo and the Beavers to become basically the only people running the conference the last few months that the Pac-12 was even a thing, with the other 10 teams that were still competing.
Who was the last head of the Pac-12 again? That
George
let this
Kliavkoff.
He was the one that let this all fall apart, right?
Yeah, because he drug his feet for years about getting a new media rights deal, and I agree with you, Matt. We could very well see the FBS expand even further to 140 teams very soon.
I was gonna straight up. Okay, wait. I'm sorry. Two questions. One
Sure.
question, two things. First question: who's in charge of the Pac-12 now? Who is that? It's definitely not. What's his name?
No, Kliavkoff resigned the second that he was able to. Pat, let me look up the name of the person. I didn't get that or remember.
And I was gonna say, for one thing's for sure, I definitely think that we're definitely gonna see some more teams jumping upward. Personally, I think Mountain West might take both Dakota States.
So the commissioner of the Pac-12 is a woman by the name of Teresa Gold. According to Sports Business Journal, she actually did an interview with them. It's behind a paywall, so I can't access it. But she did an interview with Sports Business Journal about what comes next, and I'll probably hear about that later from a free website. So Teresa Gold, I don't know anything about this woman. I don't know what her background is off the top of my head. But she came in to begin running this basically the skeleton of a conference. They don't have a network now. There's no TV deal. Their only media rights that they have is to broadcast their home games on the CW, and that is literally just about it. I mean, that was pretty much all that we had, and everything kind of felt really temporary. Everything felt slapdash together. There was no clear vision for the long future, and I honestly figured that okay, and Teresa Gold finally pulled it up. She is an alumni of Berkeley.
Yeah, it says she worked in the athletic department of University of California, Berkeley.
Yep. So she's got Pac-12 in her blood. Fair enough.
I was thinking she was. Yeah, Maths, CW. Yes, Alan. They're going to be doing the Xfinity races next season.
CW is starting to really kind of get into the sports thing, and they're really starting to pick up all these these conferences and these games where they were kind of left behind after the last sweep of media rights.
Well, as much as I'd love to admit it, you can't live off of whose line.
Yeah, that's for sure. So yeah, and by the way, this deal with the CW, that's just a 1-year deal. I'm doing this research again as I go, but the CW was broadcasting 11 of the 13 home games for the Pac-12 schools this season. And the remaining 2 matches will air on either Fox or FS1. And that's pretty much it. We don't know how much the finances are. We don't know what they're making. It's definitely not what the other schools in the other power conferences are making, though. If I had to guess, these schools are probably getting paid somewhere around the $20 million mark per year. And that's being generous. It honestly could be less. But they also got paid, if you remember, $250 million big ones by both the 10 schools that left the Pac-12 and the NCAA for buying out their tournament slots for the basketball tournament. So all things considered, they aren't hurting for money. They got tons of it. They could have taken all that money, upgraded all their facilities, and just go full independent and become powerhouses, or they could rebuild their conference or merge with the Mountain West. They decided to get aggressive and not only kind of tell the Mountain West, hey, thank you, fuck you, bye, a la Jim Cornette, but poach them.
Yes,
and
because
steal 4 of the. They stole 4 teams from the Mountain West.
And these are some fairly, and well, at least 3 of them are fairly big names. You got San Diego State, Colorado State, and the big fish, Boise State, and then of course Fresno State. But
yeah. I'm taking another look here because I'm really curious as to what they're worth. Okay, so
I know Matt. I know.
Yeah, it looks like according to the Seattle Times, they're saying that the Pac-12 schools are getting $11 million a year from the CW. So I was way over the mark on how much money that is. That is a pitiful amount of money. But you got to think of the CW's perspective. They're like, why the fuck do we pay $20 million per year for 2 schools that are going to give us maybe 13 games, maybe 11, maybe 10, and who knows how good those games are even going to be.
And it's not like it's Notre Dame. It's not like you're talking about a school that's got like a probably nationwide appeal.
No, Wazoo and Oregon State are historically the doormats of the Pac-12. I'm honestly surprised they're trying to rebuild it, not just burn it in effigy out of spite.
Burn it to the ground.
Because literally outside of Cal and Stanford in football, no success. No success by those 2.
Who fled to the ACC?
Cal and Stanford fled to the ACC from the Pac-12.
Do you think there's a chance that they might be able to snag him back?
That's what I said in my video. Yeah,
I didn't get to that part yet.
It's okay. It's okay. I kind of
hang on.
You were watching something else, and then I reminded you about the stream.
I'm at 423.
It's all good.
I'm at 423 on your video. So if I was mentioning like the last 2 minutes,
it's okay. It's all good. Yeah. No. So Stanford and Cal, I think, could be in play. Because you got to think. Okay, so according to what I've read from a couple of different articles, the buyout value for the 4 Mountain West schools is anywhere from just under $100 million to over $100 million total, which is about half of their war chest, not even half of their $250 million. So you could, in theory, if the ACC crumbles, like a lot of people are predicting it to do, which is very possible in the next 2 years, depending, because it's a very volatile situation between Florida State and Clemson threatening to, yank the cord on the whole thing. You could get them right back. You could try and do a buyout, but as we know, their grant of rights deal is extremely expensive and it would take a lot of money. But if Cal and Stanford, they're rich enough, right? They're the Stanford's the Ivy League of the West, for fuck's sake. They got money to kill. They got so much fucking money. Cal, maybe not so much, but but if everybody goes in on it together, you could get those two back. Now, would that be worth it? I don't know. I feel like it's a possibility. It's worth an exploration. It's worth a discussion with them. That's why I say it's worth looking into it in my video, and it's a possibility. But man, ACC is hard, and I don't know what the complications would be for them. They're not, because Cal and Stanford, they're not even getting the full media money out of this right now. From the ACC's perspective, they don't get full media money for years. Frankly, neither does Washington, neither does Oregon. USC and UCLA do, because it wasn't a last-minute addition. They've been planning this for years, but Oregon and Washington aren't getting shit for quite a while, but they are getting a bunch of residuals from it. SMU is in the same boat as Cali and Stanford. So I could see them taking it back, but it's going to be complicated, and that's why I'm saying that you could see Sacramento State from FCS making the jump to the Pac-12. They are in the top 25 of FCS right now in terms of successful football teams.
I was honestly thinking, the fact of the matter is that now Mountain West is down to 8 teams, and like you said, it can only be
6.
It has to be.
Well, Mountain West is down to 8. You're right, I think.
Yeah. Because I just counted here. I counted 12, and
yes, you're right. Okay.
And so, anyways, I was thinking that the scenario being that the Pac takes 2 more from the Mountain West, and then the Mountain West invites both Dakota states to join the conference. Because here's the thing, you invite both Dakota states, that at the very least they'll be in pretty good competition almost immediately, because it's like putting them in the SEC or like or the Big Ten or something, they're going to get absolutely wrecked. But you put them in Mountain West with a lot of teams that aren't as strong as those power conferences, they might actually be able to get off the ground fairly easy. It wouldn't be as hard.
So I predicted that if the Dakota schools go anywhere, it'd be going to the Mountain West for sure. And they would be going there alongside Montana and Montana State, because those 4, it would be South State, North State, Montana, Montana State. They're not going to take North Dakota or South Dakota with them. They don't have as much of a history. And as Austin Corndogs Inc. says below, that's a good point about Sac State. They don't have as much good history either. But you got to keep in mind, right? Neither has Boise State in terms of comparison to most other teams in college football. Boise State is, if you think about it, more successful than Oregon and Wazoo in the last 3 decades, because they've been to plenty of those New Year's 6 bowl games. They've won a couple. Hell, they were the biggest BCS buster during the BCS era. They were a constant pain in the ass.
I swear to God, if you say that one game.
2007 Fiesta Bowl, fuck you.
Okay, where do you live? I'm going to come and slap you.
You're not going to come and slap me, motherfucker. I will go to your fucking.
Someone over the internet.
I will go to your.
Just to quickly say something, Steelers gone Super Bowl.
All right, whatever. Fuck off. Now, where were we? The point that I was making is that Boise State. The point I was making is that Boise State, compared to all of the teams, I think has the more recent success. Colorado State's a kind of a meh.
Boise State's favored currently this year is favored to be the play-in team. I mean, is the favored to be the the group of 5 team to get in. What does that say? What does that say about Boise State? I can't deny it. Boise State
fuck is right, Alan. Yeah. No, I mean, I think that Fresno State's not really famous too much for football. They're kind of meh. The biggest thing that I know Fresno State for is they built and developed David Carr, the former NFL quarterback for the Texans, brother of Derek, his younger brother. And then San Diego State, they've never really been a power, but recently they've had a lot of success, not just on the football field, but in the basketball court too.
Oh, definitely.
And that is a big pickup too, because don't forget, basketball is another big revenue sport that this conference has to think about. None of these other schools in these conferences are really mean shit in the college basketball world. San Diego State, they've developed a pretty good fucking program in basketball. That is for damn sure. So that'll be a good pickup. That's an easy NCAA tournament entry every year.
I was trying to think what would be like the other two teams that they could be picked up from the conference. And right now, off the top of my head, I'm thinking pick up Hawaii and San Jose State University.
No.
Pick up the last California team and you pick up Hawaii.
No, don't pick up San Jose State. They are absolute dog shit. I mean,
and yet they're 2-0 and they're winning the conference.
You can be 2-0 when you're playing just FCS and lower division school teams. Like it's not impressive. San Jose State is not that good of a football program. I would not put money on that.
Well, then what?
Take one of the Nevada schools. A good point about Colorado. Their invite would have gone to UNLV, but rumor is the Nevada system for higher education has made Nevada and UNLV pairs. That makes sense because Arizona and Arizona State are also were in pairs too. When one goes to the Big 12, so does the other. So that makes sense because but I don't see why they wanted Fresno over UNLV. Nevada's not really much of a program, to be completely blunt, though. Really, they're not.
Really heard anything of
Nevada's kind of just there most of the time. UNLV, they haven't had success in like 50 years, and then suddenly, boom, here come the fucking rebels, rebelling all over the place, and just being damn nuisances. What I'm thinking, honestly, is this. I think that if the Pac-12 is going to add teams, there are 2 more teams at minimum, they ought to promote Sacramento State. I know that they don't have that much of a history, guys. I know, but it's a lot easier of a transition when you have a successful FCS program that has been, top of their game for the last couple of seasons to transition to that next level and it's raised the standing of your stock completely. And I would also bring in Idaho because Idaho and Wazoo, they have a rivalry that dates back a century. And Akbar has fucked off. So, I think that those would be 2 easy suspects to point out. But, UNLV and Nevada could still come up. You could see maybe lower side Big 12 teams make come up. You could see maybe BYU get added back into the mix. They don't really, I haven't seen them care too much about the Big 12. And frankly, the Big 12 could probably afford to shed a couple of teams. They're a little overinflated right now. You could see that. Match 7397. I believe the Pac-12 basketball could be something to watch for with these new teams coming in. Mountain West big boys for college basketball are now in Pac-12. You're absolutely right. Even though we don't think of basketball power when it comes to the Mountain West, they could, like in this conference, you could see that happen. You know what else we could see happen, frankly, is a lot of half memberships. You could see, schools being added for football primarily, but then you could also see like other schools that are not football members. Gonzaga, hello. St. Mary's, hello.
Oh,
could be poached.
No.
I'm saying could, not saying they will. They could be poached.
No way Gonzaga goes for that. They are perfectly content with being where they are, because that's the thing. That's how they keep having their friggin' success, because they're in a weak conference, so they can have pretty much an easy run. The only challenge to them is William St. Mary?
What did I say about St. Mary?
Yeah. That's their only competition in their conference.
What did I say about money? Money talks, bullshit walks. You take $100 million that 2 schools like Wazoo and Oregon State have, and you throw $30 million at Gonzaga. Oh, they're gonna come. They're gonna come right on over. I don't care who you are. That's a lot of goddamn money. They will throw that purse around if it gets their Pac-12 conference saved. That is for sure. Akbar keeps coming in and out, so if you see me alone at moments, just bear with me. You could see things like that. I don't think for strictly basketball reasons. I don't think you would see that for football. I would see that as maybe just a basketball only edition, which would technically get this program back to 8 members, which would be enough for the NCAA to let them live another year. But you could also see the Pac-12 just as easily take the Montana and Montana State teams. You could see the Dakotas get moved over, or you could or the Dakota schools don't move at all, and they say that they're perfectly content playing in FCS. Which to each their own, but again, you get tens of millions of dollars offered to you. It's pretty hard to say no to an opportunity to play top flight college football and be the only ones in your region to be able to do it. Imagine Montana and the Dakotas getting involved in top flight college football. You pretty much have damn near every state in the union at that point playing major FBS football.
I
don't see that.
What states aren't playing? I'm trying to think. What states?
Mainly New England states. Maine,
Rhode
Island. Yukon's represented somehow.
Yukon's Connecticut. UMass.
New Hampshire. Vermont. I want to say Delaware until next year.
Oh,
because they're joining Conference USA, I think.
Oh,
yeah.
I was not aware of that.
Yeah, the Blue Hens are coming up. There's plenty of situations where they are all sports except football or football only in the history of conferences.
Wichita State.
Wichita State?
No, they're not in football because they scrapped their football program after the plane crash.
Yeah, it wasn't right after the plane crash.
Well, it wasn't immediately, but they stopped.
They're also not going to come back and play football because they tore down their old football stadium finally. So
I know. I used to go there.
Yeah.
I want to quickly apologize for me cutting in and out and all that stuff. I have family over.
That's a good point.
I didn't want you guys to see folks.
It's all good. I can hold down the fort when you need me to. But yeah, overall, I mean, the whole ordeal. There's literally no wrong direction the Pac-12 can go in at this point. They could cause a lot of havoc in the Group of 5 conferences. They could cause a ton.
You just what else could they do wrong at this point? They did everything so wrong. The conference was at the brink of death, and now suddenly they're starting to come back. They suddenly just got revived.
Beavers and Wazoo didn't really do anything wrong. It was the leadership that was leading the conferences and the teams at the table that were outvoting them that was doing everything wrong. So they got in charge and they started thinking aggressive. They went with the Yarmack approach, like what happened to the Big 12. Austin, the Montanas and Dakotas, while successful, are just fine winning titles every other year in FCS. They unfortunately don't make enough for FBS, nor do they want to be relegated to bowl game participants. Well, I don't know. Because TV revenue changes all of that. If you get a conference together that has enough names that are recognizable and you can get, $20, $25 million a year from a major broadcast network, that changes the game. That changes the fucking game for sure. Again, money talks, bullshit walks, and they have a lot of money that can do a lot of the talking.
So I think now is a good segue into another case of money talks, bullshit walks. In which case, we talk about the reason we're all laughing this week in college football.
Hold on. I am gonna tee you up perfectly for this one. Real simple.
What the f*** was that?
It is still National Shite on the Fire and Irish Day. It's been going on all week.
You dare take me Lucky Charms? I freaking take your knees.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Akbar, you start us off, man. What the fuck happened with Notre Dame?
$1.4 million. There's your money. And the bullshit was Northern Illinois deciding, hey, we're going to win this. I was only catching the end of that game. I do not know how the heck Northern Illinois managed to pull it off, but I am so happy they did because this was too funny. Because this is the same situation every damn year with Notre Dame. The team, look, I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. I will straight up admit they are pretty much like the Cowboys of college football. They haven't been relevant in almost 4 decades. Well, the Cowboys were relevant in the 90s, but you know what I mean. The Notre Dame has not been relevant, and the times that they have been, they did an SEC short on this after the 2020 Notre Dame team got absolutely quashed in the playoff, and it was like the Notre Dame's playoff suck party or something. And it's 2012 and it's 2017, like celebrating with them. Just the fact like I don't belong here. We changed the narrative. Oh yeah, how'd that rematch with Clemson go? It's just the only reason I think that Notre Dame gets much more of this kind of stuff is partially NBC deal and all that stuff because they got a monopoly with NBC. I think that, and that's partially the TV rights and all that stuff. That might be having a bit of a play. But two, the fact that they are still an independent team. They get to pick who they want, and they will usually pick their opponents to be a freaking dang cupcake schedule for the most part. Because they can legally get away with that. They can literally play like every bottom feeder in every conference, and they'll usually always start off ranked every season. So they basically just have to sit by and just let they have to maybe throw in one ranked opponent or one decent opponent just to give a bit of a legitimacy. But they could literally just pick nothing but the dregs, and then basically just wait for everybody else around them to start losing. And then they basically come into the end of the season completely undefeated and then just completely get crushed when they actually face good teams.
Notre Dame is the Dallas Cowboys of college football for a reason, man. They are given the highest of high expectations every year by not just their fans, but by the national media, because whether they want to admit it or not, football built that fucking school. They literally tell people that.
I want to quickly say one thing in terms for Cowboys fans this year. I think this year we're pretty much like I think we finally, this is like the 1 year in a long time where we're just like, yeah, we ain't doing crap this year probably.
All right. Well, now that we've added you as a resident Cowboy lover, so
I'm sorry, I'm all over the place.
Got Brokeback Akbar on the show tonight. Anyway,
what does that mean?
It means gay Cowboys. Anyway, we're going to continue.
What the was that?
All righty. Well,
I'm going to straight up say this. I want to start so one more thing related to the game itself. Basically, Notre Dame could have won this game. I definitely think Notre Dame could have won this game, especially towards the end, because like with 6 minutes to go, they throw that interception, and then basically Northern Illinois slowly starts driving down the field. Although here's the thing, I thought that Northern Illinois scored too quickly. I thought they kicked that field goal and they scored too soon, especially the fact that some Notre Dame player went down and they weren't forced to use their last timeout. Basically, there was like 3 times the clock should have started running, or at the very least cost Notre Dame a timeout right before that field goal kick, and they never had to waste it. So that was why I was thinking, shoot, they've given them too much time. They freaking it's like there's too much time on the clock. Notre Dame still has a timeout. They'll freaking get all the way down. Yes, thank you, Alan. That's exactly what was happening. I very much still. And there was ref ball and Notre Dame still lost. But, oh, man. Shoot, does somebody remember how long that field goal kick Notre Dame was attempting?
Don't say shoot. We got a certain gentleman in the chat again, and I'm trying my best not to make a joke.
I am in the sky right now. This is an outrage. I am not some clumsy Crusoe Escueta.
After all he did with cheating on his wife, I sure as shit hope he is. Anyway, so let me give my 2 cents on Notre Dame again. I gave it last weekend, but let me just go ahead and give it again real fast. Notre Dame, by large, is given the highest of expectations and does the absolute bare minimum to meet those expectations. They haven't had a competent coach since Lou Holtz in the early 90s. Early 90s Lou Holtz, not mid 90s Lou Holtz. That was bad. I'll tell you more about that in a future video. But
Wait, who was he with in the '90s?
Well, I mean, he was Notre Dame's head coach for like 10 years, from the mid '80s to the mid '90s, and that was when they were in their last, golden era, for the lack of a better term. They won the national championship, I think, in '89, and then they got close a couple of years in the early '90s, and then he retired at the end of '96 or '97, and then
he retired in '96, but then came back to South Carolina in '99.
Yeah, and then you had a string of head coaches after that. Your Charlie Weisses, your Tyrone Willinghams, that just did not pan out at all. Your Bob Davies, just a lot of no there, and it continues to haunt Notre Dame to this day. They had Brian Kelly for well over a decade. Hey, Cynical, how you doing? And they couldn't do jack shit with them. They made the BCS National Championship once, and they got blown out. They made the college football playoffs twice and got blown out. They've made multiple New Year's Six bowl games, and I think they've won maybe one of those in the last 2 decades. Oregon State made them their bitch in the Fiesta Bowl in 2000. They are continuously harassed by the Ohio State Buckeyes in both postseason and regular season play. So I think Notre Dame, by large, is the most overrated football team in college football today. They should not be given the credit that they are well past deserving. Nobody should be looking at them as a national title contender, especially since they're an independent in football, and they are not going to be able to make a first-round bye in the playoffs in any event. Hey, Zap, how you doing? From Twitch. And somehow, some way, this helps make NIU a ranked team. Action represents. Yeah. NIU won that game Saturday primarily for one reason and one reason only. They came to play. They gave it everything that they could. They were not the better team, but they played better.
No, they definitely were not the better team. Notre Dame just was playing like they just were playing like they didn't.
Two interceptions.
They were not caring.
Fucking interceptions.
Notre Dame played like they knew that they were easily going to win this thing. Like, it wasn't going to be much of a challenge to them. And it might be close. I mean, like, eventually, like, even towards the fourth quarter, it was like kind of a case of just like, okay, relax. You guys are down by, like, I mean, you guys are like winning by 1. All you have to do is just like one drive and it's over.
So, I mean, I went back. I had the game on in my living room. I was working on, ironically, the Notre Dame video that I'm making during this game. And, yeah, speaking of picks, Tua turned the ball over. Was making an appearance in Miami tonight.
Oh, that explains why Miami's getting beaten bad.
Yeah.
I got a buddy that's not happy right now.
The biggest problem with Notre Dame now is the fact that they're not a member of a conference. If they were a member of a conference, and preferably the Big Ten, because that's where the majority of their historic rivalries are at. I know they have a rivalry with Boston College and with Florida State, but the rest of those teams, not really. Like, the majority of their history is around the Big Ten with Michigan, with Purdue, with Michigan State, with Northwestern, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio State. They've made classics out of those teams. Not to mention USC is also in that conference now too, which is a big rivalry that they still play.
They're going to be playing them. They're going to be playing them in a couple of weeks, aren't they?
Yeah. For USC begins their Big Ten slate, so it would make the most sense. Yes, I know Miami's also a big rival, but quite frankly, Catholics versus convicts is kind of not as much of a rivalry anymore because both teams are also overrated as shit. We're not even going to get into the Hurricanes right now. Yeah, Notre Dame could just be like, no, we're going to wimp out, go to the ACC. And, I mean, they already got a half-ass aligned agreement. They're playing ACC conference games as a member in all sports except football. Exactly. They need to go – but the ACC, as we have mentioned earlier, they are a conference that is on the brink, seemingly, of collapse based on the lawsuits we're seeing by Clemson, by Florida State. Miami wants out. North Carolina, the Tobacco Triangle, they all won out. Like, it's a conference that is on the brink of disaster.
That there's one thing that I think that is also kind of it's keeping Notre Dame itself from joining anywhere. It's that NBC contract.
Mm-hmm. But what does the ACC have to do with NBC? Nothing.
No, but it's going to be kind of a weird situation when like you have the ACC with their TV deal, but then if you bring in Notre Dame, they are on their entire own playing field. They have they get more money probably than all the other teams. You know, it's just like all the other ACC teams. Like, hey, how come we invite them in, but they get a bigger piece of a pie? That's not they get a whole pie we can't eat.
The only thing that Notre Dame has right now, or that NBC has other than Notre Dame, is Big Ten football. So everything is literally pointing towards have an occasional rivalry game against Miami, have an occasional rivalry game against Boston College, Army, Navy, Florida State. Rotate your schools out that way, and then play top Big Ten teams every single season, because that would make the most sense, and it would just be so much easier to get so much more money out of it, because NBC could then just consolidate everything into one big media deal. Maybe Notre Dame gets a bigger cut because they've been there longer, so they get grandfathered in as their own TV right. I don't know, but what I am going to say overall, Notre Dame is fucked.
I'm just saying,
this season.
There's 4 big power conferences. We have 4 big networks. ABC, ESPN gets SEC. Fox gets Big 12. CBS got the Big 10 now, and then ACC just have them all on NBC or something. I don't know.
No, because the Big 10 just got media rights, and that's going to last for a good 7 years. So that's not happening anytime soon. ACC lawsuits by Austin Corndog, since this is, I know we're getting a lot of comments. Thank you guys so much for commenting. I keep them coming. I'll do my best to show every single one on screen, but I might not be able to announce all of them. So, but keep them coming. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. ACC lawsuits will decide if Cal and Stanford are able to leave or not. Granted, that's not even if they want to join the six-pack. They originally stuck their nose up to San Diego State and friends about it. So, that's a good point. That's a very good point. But if they have nowhere else to go, what else is there to do? It's kind of like right now with Florida State and Clemson. They want out of the ACC because they think they can just go to the SEC or the Big Ten and get a shitload of money. But the problem is SEC is not taking invites. Big Ten's not taking invites. You can go to the Big 12, the number 3. It's not worth the effort. You want to go to where the big boys are, right?
No, you go to Big 12. It's not. You might as well just stay in the ACC, because it's just like we obviously know the 2 of the 4 power conferences. The two big boys at the table are SEC and Big 10.
And
when was the last time the Big 12?
Too.
What?
Keep this in mind too, because I read this earlier today, and it's worth remembering. The Power 4 and the Group of 5, soon to be Group of 6, since the Pac-12 is not going anywhere. That's not like an official canon thing. That is a media term at this point. True. So, keep this in mind, right? The SEC, the Big 10, the Big 12, and the ACC are not the 4 conferences guaranteed a playoff spot. It is just assumed that they are going to be. If the number 1 team in the nation plays for the American, they are going to be the number 1 seed and get the first round bye in the playoff.
Man,
yeah.
You know what? That makes a lot of sense, because I was just thinking the top 4 seeds were going to be the conference championships of the big conference.
In theory, they will be. In theory, they will be. But if, say, Tulane runs the table, beats a couple of top 5 teams during their season by complete accident, not happening this year, obviously, but just a hypothetical. Let's say they ran the table, beat a couple of top 5 teams, and finished number 1 in the nation by some fucking crazy 2007 situation. Guess what that fucking means? Tulane number 1 overall, first round bye. And then now you're looking at a situation where an ACC team or a Big 12 team or a Big 10 team or an SEC team could win their conference, think they're getting the first round bye, and then, nope, you're playing at home week 1. Guess what? Pack your shit. You're going home, and you got to defend your title at home with your fans in the background, which isn't a bad deal, but it still sucks. Pac-12 looking at Cal and Stan like, you couldn't live with your own failure, and where'd that bring you? Right back to me.
You mentioned Tulane. I think that's probably a good segue to this next quick part.
Which one's that?
A little self-reflection with our own teams.
Yeah, let's get into that. A little self-reflection now.
It's only going to take 2 minutes.
All right. Self-reflection, Akbar. Go.
I was half tempted to get my belt and use it as a prop. Because, oh, Jesus Christ. We have one of the best defenses we've had since the early 2000s. What the heck happened to offense? Oh, my gosh. We almost lost to Houston. To Houston, who might not even get a winning record this year. Oh, my gosh. I don't know. Maybe it's just like all the injuries. It's all the injuries to the wide receiver core and the offensive line that probably was hurting us. But I'm just thinking, man, we need to figure out what is wrong with this team and get it freaking fixed now before next week. We need to get this Tulane game. We got to figure out everything that's wrong and get it fixed instantly with that Tulane game. Beat them and then freaking get ready for the damn roller coaster when Tennessee comes to town. Oh my gosh. Why do I always root for the teams that always end up struggling?
You're a goddamn Sooner fan.
Now, meanwhile, you're an Ohio State fan, man. All you have to worry about is Michigan usually every year. And that will usually define your year.
Not true. We got to worry about a hell of a lot more than Michigan. We got, usually we end up having to deal with Penn State at some point in the road. You'll usually get a trap game against a team like potentially a Maryland last season, potentially a Rutgers last season.
When the freak has Penn State ever truly been the biggest? Been the biggest threat of a season to Ohio State? Ever since Franklin took over, he hasn't won. Has he won one game against Ohio State or Michigan?
Yes, he's beaten Ohio State once, Michigan twice.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, I'm still saying
we were number one in the nation, and we were playing in Happy Valley the night that they finally beat us in 2017. I still haven't forgotten that game. It's easy to hate them. They are always a pain in the ass. But to reflect on this past week, Ohio State did not have the same start that they had against Akron. You remember against Akron, they came out rusty. They came out tired. They came out and I kind of chalked it up mostly to they don't have a preseason in college, so they were a little bit rusty. They were going to be a little scrambled at first. Jeremiah Smith is a fucking hoss. I am getting big Maurice Claret energy from this son of a bitch. He is a true freshman that is racking up the points, racking up the touchdowns early, getting all the yards. And I am telling you, he could be a Heisman candidate if he plays his cards right and they just keep feeding his ass the ball. He's a great second option next to Ibuka right now at wide receiver, who is also really goddamn good. And the best part is he's not going anywhere because Ohio State has the money to keep his ass for 3 years. So I feel pretty damn good about Ohio State. And I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to stand up and stretch for a second. Y'all don't need to see my belly.
Oh, man. Darn it. That Oklahoma-Tennessee game, man. That's dang it. That's at 6. Shoot. 21st, I'm going to be at the movie theater seeing the Batman 89 on the big screen. But it's 2 in the afternoon, so it's dang it, I can't watch that during the middle of the game.
Arizona State and Texas State just tied it up again at 28 in the third, late in the third, by the way. So no, I think you Oklahoma fans need to simmer down a little bit. You guys acted like the world was coming to end the first week when you gave up 3 points to Temple, even though you were committing abuse on an endangered owl species. And then this week you have a rough time against Houston, who, while they're not good, they are always feisty, and they're always kind of one of those teams that are never easy to put away.
That is true. They nearly gave Texas a loss last year.
Yeah, exactly. They gave Texas a hell of a scare while Texas was en route to a college football playoff spot. That's just what Houston does. They scare the piss out of teams.
Tua is down. I repeat, Tua is down.
Oh shit! Well, we need to focus on college football, but that's obviously not good. We're going to continue forward now. Tennessee Oklahoma is going to be a fun game to watch. I'm looking forward to the Ohio State Oregon game primarily because the longer I watch Oregon play, the more happier I get to play them in October because they struggled hard against Boise State last week. And I mean, Boise State honestly is still going to be a team that could easily make the playoffs from the group of 5. And that is just that is Ashton Genty is just a fucking hoss. A couple of reactions to our self-reflections. Dumb Gamers like, all I'm hearing is woe is me from these privileged fans from a Houston fan.
Hey, I'm a Houston fan too, you. I mean, wait. Dumb Gamers, what do you mean by Houston fan? What are we talking, like Astros, Houston Cougars? What are we talking
I'm
about?
pretty sure he's talking Cougars. He's an Astro fan for sure.
me
Cynical to
too.
give the Buckeyes credit. Penn State is overrated as fuck. You guys only have to deal with USC. The Ducks are a joke too. We will see about that. Dylan Gabriel.
USC. Who do we know with that one? I mean,
USC is going to be a fun game.
Yeah, but here's the thing: do they actually? Is that defense really Did Lincoln Riley finally solve his defensive woes, or was just LSU that bad that day?
I guess we're going to find out as the season goes on. I think that LSU, the reason LSU lost their game against USC was discipline. They had so many penalties that were self.
We talked about. Oh my gosh, Oklahoma did the same crap at the end. They should have had like Houston should have only had like a few seconds on their final drive, but that one Oklahoma player took his friggin' helmet off on the field and they gave like Houston, they had a penalty, so that Houston had like extra 30 seconds to play. It didn't go anywhere, but still. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe
I don't have that clip loaded up, Alan.
asses.
Sorry. I don't have that clip loaded in my system. Why do I need the LeGarrette Blunt punch clip? I wish I could load it up and show you, but I can't. As a Tennessee fan, it will be a test game for us to see what we really have for our team all around against Oklahoma.
Well, that's certainly not the case with North Carolina State. That was for sure. And hey,
speak of the Devils.
Might as well. Let's talk about them.
Holy shit, we're kind of all over the place here. We still got at least one more topic we're going to hit on. And
hey,
it's gonna be the best
I will say this. We have done a pretty good job of segueing in things pretty good. You mentioned Tulane. I'm like, okay, that's how we use next opponent. So it's just like, hey, I think that was working pretty well.
Right? It's like we can't do anything possibly wrong.
Yeah, I'm gonna come back. Woo! Who can stop me? Stop me. Who can stop me? What? Yeah! Woo!
And there you go. Stream's ruined. Anyway, oh shit, Tua might have had another knockout. That's gonna mean
no. God, I feel bad
trees.
for him.
Discord's gonna be on fire. No.
Okay, let's move on. What?
All right, we're moving on.
Remind me to talk to you about that for a minute after the stream's over.
Cool. So NC State volunteered as tribute against Tennessee. Fucking hell. I honestly thought it was going to be a lot closer of a game. I was miserable. I was so miserable, I ended the stream in the fourth quarter when it was very clearly over. Like, it was bad. Fierce Cam Ross, he was ranked high. Usually these teams always bring it, so we'll see how good we are after we play a few ranked teams. Damn right. Nico looked absolutely unstoppable at quarterback for Tennessee. He is a hoss, man.
I can't really deny. It was close for a little while. When exactly did it really just start absolutely collapsing? Though, was it the third quarter or was it middle of the second or something?
It's like when it started to get ugly.
Yeah,
it was starting to get ugly in the second quarter.
Yeah,
it was like a 2 or 3 touchdown lead going into the half, and NC State was kind of starting to collapse. And then third quarter is when it really ran away. Really ran away. I'll take a look at it later, Alan. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. The best I saw from that NC State game had a 12-play drive go for 29 yards, and they punted. Yeah, that was NC State. I mean, there's not much else really to say about that performance other than it was just really fucking bad. NC State kind of got exposed massively on a national stage, and it's going to hurt them. It's going to hurt them long term. I don't think they're like screwed. I don't think this is going to be the start of an epic collapse this season. That's going to cause them to slide to like 5-7, 4-8. But it's definitely going to be a tough road ahead trying to get their confidence back.
I mean, it really is hard when you get absolutely like just demolished. It's hard to bounce back.
Yeah, even worse, they lost in the Mayo Bowl.
Yeah, wasn't that supposed to be kind of like a glorified home game for them because they were playing in Charlotte?
It was a glorified home game for MC State because it was being played in Carolina in the Bank of America Stadium.
Hey,
And Tua, they got a walk, by the way, so nobody worried.
not that Tennessee is a stranger to that. Look what happened to them last year when Georgia came to town. I'm just glad Dolly was gone before they. I'm just glad Dolly left Neyland before all that happened. No, I made her watch. I wrecked your home like my name was Jolene, the dog father. I forget. I think it was who was with us on that SEC short stream. Was that illogical? Yeah, it was illogical.
Yeah, illogical.
He said Matt Mitchell's Georgia was a creepy or something. He's like, no, he's just doing the Godfather, but he's the dog father. he was just stroking that little plush dog.
Damn it, Zep, you're a Yenzer? Fuck. I forgive you, but damn it. Fucking shit.
Oh,
well,
shame my screen was muted because I.
Oh, he is the anti-Yenzer. I cheer when the Steelers tank, so you're never happy then because they they don't believe in tanking. They don't even fire coaches.
Somehow Tomlin will keep getting we'll get a winning record somehow.
All right, let's get back on the topic with college football here. We're veering off in NFL again. The question a friend of mine had was, if Nico was this good to begin with, why didn't they start him last year? Who the fuck starts freshman quarterbacks at the FBS level besides teams that are just desperate? Exactly.
Tennessee wasn't exactly desperate last year. Did he even play a snap in that Georgia game?
No. I think he was redshirted actually. He's still considered a freshman. He's a redshirt freshman. Yeah, Yenzers and Texans make up Red's channel. I know the irony of it all. Hey, Nick, good to see you again. Re-asking the question after what happened today with Pac-12 taking 4 Mountain West teams. I think they will. I mentioned that in my video earlier that I published on my YouTube channel. I mentioned it in my video. But yeah, I do think that they will definitely they'll definitely try their best to take those teams. Zep is a Falcons fan, football, Penguins for hockey. Jesus fucking God. Why though?
Like I said, I'm all over the place with my teams. I'm a Spurs fan in basketball, Astros fan in baseball, Cowboys fan in football, Sooners in college football.
Yeah, and by the way, Matt, Nico is still a freshman. He's a redshirt freshman, but yeah, he's got 3 years on him still. He could technically play 2 more seasons and then go to the draft as a redshirt sophomore, but 3 years probably. He'll be the 4th quarterback redshirt or freshman starting in an SEC championship game for the Vols in history. We'll see about that. Good luck with that one.
I really don't know what much more we could really say about this game that hasn't been said, or you can clearly tell. North Carolina State, it was clear pretty early on that eventually Tennessee was it was close for a little bit, and then Tennessee eventually just broke the dam and then just ran away with it. And at that point, it's like North Carolina State might as well have just thrown in the towel.
And Tennessee, by a mile, they're going to be dangerous in the SEC this season. I don't know about SEC championship appearance, but they'll be dangerous.
Right now, there's I think 4 teams that will be the main contenders for the SEC this season. It'll be Texas, Georgia, Tennessee, Ole Miss. I would not be surprised if our if the conference title game is is 2 of those 4 teams, and all 4 of them could easily make the playoffs.
Easily. Nick Harvey made another pretty good comment. I'm pretty sure he's from the Dakota area. That's why he probably knows this. But on Election Day, Fargo has a measure on the ballot for seating expansion to the Fargo Dome to get the Bison to the FBS.
Ooh, that's interesting.
I actually did not know about that because I keep on hearing rumors like, oh, they're perfectly content being in FCS. I'm like, man, fuck you. Everybody wants to play FBS ball. From Division III to FCS, they all want to get to that FBS level at some point. Everybody dreams of that one. Yeah, I'm sure that'll pass with flying colors because they love their Bison up there. That's for sure.
Well, what else is there to do up in North Dakota?
No, quite frankly, yeah. I mean, until besides the Bison, you get arena football in the spring. That's about it. Finally, to finish off the main talks before we talk about what's in store for week 3, Texas is still back, unfortunately.
Yep. That one, that honestly was closer than it really should have been.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
Well, no. SEC shorts. They did the whole hospital sketch again, and then basically like what happened to him? Hey, we took our foot off the gas. He should be eating out of a tube right now. That's the thing. What was the final score of that? What was it? 30-something to 12?
Christ, what the fuck was it?
Hang on.
I'm looking it up. It was 31-12.
That should not have been the score. That Texas honestly should have beat them by 30.
They could have. Cynical is like, the hell are you smoking? Hulkman, first time appearance I think on this channel.
I've never seen him before.
Texas will be great. They fit the SEC pretty well because they beat up Big Ten teams. I get the joke. Let's see. I think that Texas is definitely a very complete team. They showed a complete dominance that you're not used to seeing out of Texas in recent years. Not only on offense, which we kind of expect out of an old Big 12 squad, but their defense. That's the biggest thing some of these programs lack from conferences like the Big 12 and the old Pac-12. No defense. Everyone was
that was often a problem, is because the speed and the usual coaching play or something was like Big 12 was like real favor of the air raid offense and all that stuff. So like basically like almost all the Big 12 teams were like so pass heavy, deep balls, and then you had to rely on faster and lighter players basically, which is fine when you're playing against your conference opponents, but then when you go play freaking like the SEC or the Big 12, which is a whole different mindset of, the whole smash mouth football and all that kind of stuff, more traditional kind of ways, it really starts biting you in the ass.
Mm-hmm. I think that overall, when it comes to the Longhorns, what's going to come down to ultimately for Texas is, all right, so
Hulk, we already answered that earlier.
Yeah, I'll circle back to it. Don't worry. I think that Texas is for real. I don't see any scenario where I see they're going to slip up. Now, they got some tough games. They got some really tough fucking games coming up. And I'm going to kind of go through and point some of them out real quick because these are going to be – Michigan was a big test, but now that they're past Michigan, who do they have to look ahead to? They got
Red River and Georgia.
Yeah, Red River. They got Georgia in back-to-back weeks. They play Oklahoma on October 12th. They play Georgia the week after that. And that's currently number 1 versus number 2. Number 1 versus number 2, Georgia versus Texas on Saturday, October 19th, if nothing changes. That is a very rare thing to see in the regular season, is a number 1 versus number 2. That would be potentially it's the classic territory there.
Here's the thing:
hell of a kickoff to a true SEC matchup, and plus they're playing that game at home. That's just as much of a tough choice for Georgia as it is Texas.
I know, but I'm not worried too much for Georgia because I'm just like, look, it's Georgia, it's Kirby Smart. He's like, obviously he's the one that cracked the code on how to beat Nick Saban and all that stuff, and he's been pretty successful with it for the most part. So it's just like, look, if you can be able to beat Nick Saban, constantly keep fighting him and beating him, I think you're pretty much good on most other coaches out there. I think you'll probably be fine.
Agreed. I think that overall, Matt, you're absolutely right. I was about to say the same thing. The biggest game everyone's going to be circling on their calendars now. So obviously they got to get to Red River first. They got to play in the Cotton Bowl against Oklahoma on the 12th. But that October,
and who knows how that goes.
By the way, October 19th. Why is that date so familiar to me?
Oregon versus Ohio State.
That's the same weekend, isn't it?
I think.
Well, I'll be God. Hold on, just a moment.
Or was that the same weekend as Red River?
No, No, they're not playing Oregon and Ohio State that weekend. But it is the same day as Alabama, Tennessee. But 1 versus 2, that is a national championship game in the middle of the year. You're absolutely right, Matt. So that genuinely could be a game of the year situation there. I'm going to probably be covering that on my YouTube channel.
Alabama and Tennessee, get ready for that goalpost to probably be thrown in the river again.
Oh, God. Here we go again.
Should almost be 3 in a row right now. I mean, well, okay. We haven't played yet. We don't know how Red River is odd because 2 years ago Oklahoma got absolutely annihilated, and then last year basically it was a close shootout, and then basically Oklahoma was actually able to squeeze out the win.
So what you're saying is Oklahoma could rob us of a mid-season 1 versus 2 game.
Possibly, but
thanks, Oklahoma.
But like I said, with what I said earlier with Oklahoma, I'm not so confident this time.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong there. I think that it's going to. Their game against Oklahoma is going to say a lot. It's going to say a lot about who Texas is really as a team, and then that is the ultimate test going up against Georgia, who is without a doubt the biggest dog in the holy fucking shit. Speaking of big, Northwestern State and South Alabama are playing. It is the fourth quarter. South Alabama was winning 87-10.
What? Good God! Not even Arkansas scored that much against.
No, they went Hog City on the fucking.
Take them to Hog City.
They took their asses to Hog City. I mean, my God, what?
Has South Alabama even punted once?
Probably not. The punter probably got the night off. The game is over now. South Alabama's kneeling it out, but damn, 87-10.
Oh yeah, you might as well just take a knee every time you get the ball at that point.
Once you're up by 60, you ought to just take a knee.
I think once you're up by 60, I think they should just blow the whistle and call the game.
Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead. I mean, we can kind of just leave that there for Texas, and
wait. We need to say one last thing. We need to say this because we're focused on Texas. We got to talk about who they played though. We got to mention the national title defenders. We should mention Michigan.
They're done.
No, yes, I think they are done.
I'm not saying that as a biased Ohio State Buckeye nut lover, but I mean they're done. You got absolutely shit canned on your home field in front of a national TV audience.
They lost everything.
They lost their entire offense. They lost their entire defense. I mentioned Colston Loveland and Donovan Edwards are really the only 2 players back for that team on offense. That's your tight end and your running back. Like, that is Sharon Moore is probably going to take that team to a 9-3 record and have a very serviceable hangover season after winning the national championship. That ain't no repeat happening, though.
No.
They're not good enough to do that. They'll get a low-tier New Year's Day bowl game. We'll see them in the Reliant West or the Citrus Bowl, but
Liberty Bowl.
Maybe the Liberty Bowl, but it's not their year, and that's okay for them. And frankly, it's all good because at the end of the day, what matters to them is that they got the ring. They're going to have some NCAA bullshit coming down the pipe, though, so I don't think they're going to be coming back real soon. I'm not going to get into that right now. That's all a lot of speculation.
For all we know, they might get the death penalty somehow.
No, come on. If Penn State didn't get the death penalty for the shit that happened with the Devil's name, whoever the fuck he was, not going to ever say the name again.
Yeah, let's stop that one. Yeah, you wouldn't let me make that South Park joke.
I'm not making any jokes. I'm just being dead ass serious. If Penn State didn't get the death penalty for the shit that happened at Penn State all those years, Michigan's not going to get the death penalty now. I'm sorry. It's not. Probably. The standard is the standard there. Anyway, moving on. I'm going to go through a couple of comments here. When you lose all the best players to the pros and coach and cough, number one cheater, you're cooked. Absolutely. Michigan was also was in a defensive battle with Fresno State and Ann Arbor to start the year. Just circle back to the Mountain West 6-pack talk. Okay. Expected Michigan to be in rebuilding mode. Michigan can still make it at large bit for the playoffs, but that's because the Big Ten is somewhat weak, but there is one and done first round exit. And maybe they got to win a couple of big games.
I don't know if you get in on a 9-3 record.
You might get it. I don't think you'll get it on 93. They would have to beat a team like an Oregon or a USC in order to get there.
Or upset Ohio State.
Or upset Ohio State.
And if that happens, then Ryan Day is fired.
He better be. Because you don't lose to Michigan 4 years in a row. That's sacrilege in this state. Yeah, Cam Ross, I agree. We're not going to go deep into that one. So anyway, no, it's all good. What game are y'all thinking will be closer, not as close as people think for this week? Well, we're going to transition. Go ahead and talk about games this weekend real fast because week 3.
What do we got?
Well, right now we are currently monitoring a game going on currently. Texas State and Arizona State are currently in a battle tied 28 all in the 4th. That is a surprising dogfight. That is a very
they're playing at Texas State, San Marcos.
Yeah, they're playing at San Marcos. You're right.
Okay, well, let's see. The first major game we got is number 20 Arizona against number 14 Kansas State. That is Big 12. That's Big 12 matchup. I don't know. I think Kansas State probably win that one fairly easy. They're playing at K-State in Arizona. I mean, look what Arizona did in week 1. That game of just like how much points they were giving up. You know, I don't know if that was just them if it was just the rust and all that stuff, but it might not be a good day for Arizona or good night because they're playing at night.
Gotcha. We don't have a ton of top 25 games that are like really good.
We got Alabama going to Wisconsin.
Here's the thing, Harvey. That's because Michigan was losing to Ohio State all the damn time for a very long time. And he wasn't the first one to lose to Ohio State and start that streak.
No, SEC Shorts did a Blue Bloods did a whole Blue Bloods video or something with Nebraska, Michigan, and Texas back in like the COVID year. And Notre Dame showed up at the end. But anyways, they were doing like the word of the letter of the day is L. Can you guess how many L's Michigan has against Ohio State kids? It's like 15 out of the past 16 years, and it's 15. It's like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize they were losing that
bad. There's also going to be Arizona against Kansas State tomorrow night, and I am going to actually cover that game live here on tomorrow night, the Wildcat Bowl. Basically, we're going to cover that game live here on this YouTube channel and have a little fun. I'm taking Saturday off from streaming. I've done every single Saturday from week 0 to last week. I'm going to take on this weekend off and kind of chill out, work on some videos, and just relax. But tomorrow night, we're going to do some Friday night college football here on the YouTube channel in the Wildcat Bowl. It's a battle of top 25 teams. So
we have LSU going to South Carolina, which that might actually be an interesting game. South Carolina might get the upset. LSU might be in serious trouble, especially if they lose that one. They pretty much would be done.
Yeah, if LSU loses to South Carolina, they're fucked.
I mean, here's the thing: South Carolina, we have no idea still because like that they nearly lost to Old Dominion, and then they turn around and then absolutely wrecked Kentucky. So we don't know how that's going to turn out. We got, this is a good one. 24 Boston College going to number 6 Missouri. That might be a good one.
That could be. That's at 12:45. That could be a good one. Matt's mentioned that too. So thank you, Matt, for bringing that one up. Zep is keeping an eye on LSU in South Carolina too. Seems to be a theme recently for teams to overconfidently walk into Carolina and get smacked by the Gamecocks. Will it continue for LSU? We shall see. Let me look to see here. I'm going to be paying attention to a couple of games that nobody else is looking at. Florida State and Memphis is going to be a game I'm paying attention to, primarily because Florida State, are they going to get their shit together? They had a week off last weekend to probably get ran all up and down the city of Tallahassee for playing so poorly. Are they going to come out and just smoke Memphis, or is it going to be a close one in Tallahassee for that game? We'll see there. Another one is the Civil War, Oregon against Oregon State. The Beavers obviously just made a ton of news with the Pac-12. acquiring these teams from the Mountain West. So, and it's in Corvallis.
It's
going to be a very hostile environment for the Ducks.
We have the Battle of H-Town. We have Rice walking about a couple of blocks to Houston.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm just standing up again for a second.
Yeah.
I like sleep.
Rice is going to be playing at Houston, which again,
Right.
it's a home game for practically both of them, sort of.
Yep.
Because Rice, you only have to. Oh shoot, where is Rice located in this town? Hang on, I'm trying to think for a second.
They're on. They're in Houston. I just can't remember quite where.
I know. I'm looking at the map. Hang on, I'm looking at the map. Where are they?
There's also other games that could be very interesting, like Notre Dame against Purdue. Will the Irish come back and sock the Trains up a new one? The Oregon Ducks might be a 16.5-point favorite going into that game, Mats. But that home crowd in Corvallis, they're going to be foaming at the fucking mouth. And Oregon State has a history of fucking up the Ducks this season. Usually around Thanksgiving. But right now, it's going to be good. I think that's going to be a closer game than people are expecting.
Rice just has to go through Third Ward. They have to go across 288.
There you go. Another important game that a lot of people are overlooking is a battle of the Apple Cup. Wazoo against the Huskies in Seattle. So that's going to be a good one there. Both teams are 2-0 going into the game, so we've got some serious bragging rights on it. Imagine if the Pac-12 actually wins both their games this weekend. What the fuck kind of a message would that send? That'd be insane, wouldn't it? What else? The Brickyard Brawl between West Virginia and Pitt in Pittsburgh. That is going to be interesting. Oregon and Oregon State playing for a platypus. Puts hat on the trophy. Perry the platypus.
Doofenshmirtz Evil Incorporated.
I only know that shit, and I kind of hate it, frankly. There's kind of a meme on the Urinate Tree Discord that I hate Phineas and Ferb, and I'm not a fan of the show, but I'm not as like a diehard hater as I should be. What else? Like I said, my legs fell asleep, so I'm trying to wake them back up. Let's see. Who else is playing that it could be interesting? Colgate plays Akron. I'm just kidding.
Like I said, this is gonna be one of the weeks where it's not very interesting. Like I said, we've got a few interesting games, but most of them have played early.
Yeah, most of your interesting games are going to definitely be playing early.
Maybe Vanderbilt against Georgia State. Let's see if they can actually get 3-0, before they start conference play.
Yeah, Vanderbilt will probably get that 3-0 start. Georgia State's not really a quality Sun Belt team. Let's just say that.
Who did Mississippi State lose to last week?
Oh, they lost to, I think it was Arizona State. Yes, it was Arizona State in Tempe.
Yeah,
it was like
Arizona State.
It was 10 o'clock at night in Arizona, and it was still like 95 degrees on the field. Of course, they were.
It's hot as hell in here.
It's literally hell's waiting room.
Not as bad though as Matt Mitchell said when he came here to Houston. Houston is 50 miles from the coast and about 3 miles from the sun. It gets hot. Dumb Gamers can confirm.
Yep. Two more games I'm going to mention real quick. One is a local rivalry here in Cincinnati. Bearcats are playing the Miami Redhawks in the Battle for the Bell. And that's a classic rivalry game that kind of really determined the season. They've been doing that rivalry for years. And finally, the big noon to start the day off on Fox. And the game I'm probably going to be watching on my couch while everybody else is. Alabama's traveling to Wisconsin to play the Badgers. Yeah.
We will see because we should have also possibly mentioned Oklahoma wasn't the only team that was having trouble. Alabama was having trouble. The score does not show that, though, because I don't know what the heck happened with that Alabama-South Florida game. Alabama in the fourth quarter just suddenly started.
They were looking ahead of Wisconsin, I think. They're probably looking ahead of Wisconsin. Luke Fickell, he was on Ohio State's Luke Fickell was on Ohio State's coaching staff when they beat Alabama in the Sugar Bowl years ago. Now, granted, that was under Saban's regime, and Luke Fickell is a very fickle head coach. He played against Alabama when he was the head coach at Cincinnati in the playoffs. So
Matt,
he's no stranger to Alabama, Luke Fickell, the head coach. So I think Wisconsin will have a chance.
What Matt says there, 2007? No, I don't think this is 2007. I think Matt Mitchell put it best this week. I think sweet Junebug, whatever South Carolina said, was like, I think we've opened a portal to 2003 because let's see, NIU beats beats a big school that was ranked at their place. Vanderbilt might have an NFL quarterback behind center for all we know. Oh crap! We're in a crappy Disney remake. I guess that makes you Tinkerbell, Paul.
Well, I'm gonna give another quick round of questions for everybody else. We're about ready to shut this one down for the night. We're about to hit an hour 30. But overall, appreciate you guys being patient with us this week for this stream. We will be back on Tuesday for sure. Just had a lot of bullshit.
I might not be on that one though.
Okay, well, Backbar doesn't join me. I'll have somebody join me that on Tuesday.
I honestly think you should you should rotate out some people with this show. This is
I probably will. I'll probably have somebody like maybe a Logical or Duck or somebody join me next week.
You might have me on after the Red River, depending on how that one goes. If OU loses, I'm out.
Yeah, I hear that. Definitely. But I always love having you on the stream, man. You're good. You're fun to talk to and bounce shit off of. And it's usually pretty chill. So, the people seem to love having you on the show too. So it's
thank you all.
It's great to have you, Alan. We'll talk. Alabama has possible easy opponent with Wisconsin, but the next three scheduled Big Ten team, Minnesota and 27, Minneapolis might be difficult, and the Gophers improve and the tide decline without Saban. And I was looking forward to the Tennessee at OU week with.
We'll see. We will see.
All right. Well, all right, guys. Well, we're gonna go ahead and shut her down for the night. Once again, you will catch me tomorrow. Live here on this YouTube channel as we watch the Wildcat Bowl between Arizona and Kansas State, one of only two top 25 matchups going on in week 3 this week. And then we will be back after that on Tuesday night for This Week in College Football. My name is Red. For Akbar, thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you all very soon.